Picture a man standing in complete silence. Around him, the world is collapsing. Chaos erupts in every direction. Gossip spreads like wildfire through the crowd. Betrayal strikes from those he once trusted. Failure looms heavy in the air, threatening to crush everything he has built. Yet he does not flinch. He does not shout. He does not run. He simply stands, unmoved, watching it all unfold with eyes that have seen this play before. His stillness is not weakness. It is not the numbness of a broken man who has given up. No, this is something far more powerful. This is mastery. This is the result of one ancient Stoic habit that transforms ordinary men into something untouchable. It is the habit of inner separation, the ability to control his reactions regardless of what happens in the world outside him. While chaos screams for his attention, demanding his fear and anger, he remains sovereign over the only kingdom that truly matters, the empire within his own mind, in Stoic philosophy. True strength has never been loud. It does not announce itself with grand gestures or aggressive displays. It does not fight every insult hurled its way or chase every fleeting victory that the world dangles before it. True strength, the kind that withstands the test of time and tribulation, is something quieter, something deeper. It is the strength of being inwardly free. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome yet never let Rome rule him, understood this truth better than most. He called it fortifying the citadel within. The Stoic trains himself with the discipline of a warrior to draw an invisible line, a boundary more powerful than any wall of stone, between what he can control and what he cannot. On one side of this line are his thoughts, his actions, his responses, his character. These belong to him and him alone. On the other side lies everything else. The opinions of others, the weather, the economy, the cruelty of fate, the randomness of fortune. These belong to the world, to the gods, to chance itself. The Stoic does not waste his energy trying to control what can never be controlled. He pours all his power into the only territory where he is truly king. Most people live their entire lives in the opposite way, though they never realize it. They have handed over the keys to their peace to anyone willing to take them. They give power to every rumor whispered behind their back. They surrender their calm to every opinion posted online. They let every small inconvenience dictate the quality of their day. Someone cuts them off in traffic, and their morning is ruined. A coworker makes a subtle comment, and they spiral into self-doubt. A business deal falls through, and they question everything they have ever done. Their emotional state is like a small boat on a violent ocean, tossed endlessly by waves they cannot control. They do not own their peace because they have placed it in the hands of others. In the hands of circumstances, in the hands of fate. But the Stoic sees this trap and refuses to step into it. He reverses this dynamic entirely. He reclaims his power by mastering the two things that make or break every man: his attention and his emotions. He decides what deserves his focus and what deserves only indifference. He decides what will move him and what will pass by like wind through trees. That is why nothing touches him. Not rejection, because he knows his worth is not determined by who accepts him. Not praise, because he knows flattery is just another trap for the ego. Not failure, because he understands that outcomes are outside his control and therefore outside his concern, Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, never intending for the world to read them. A line that has echoed through the centuries: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words are not poetry. They are a formula. They are the blueprint for becoming untouchable. This habit of mental separation, this practice of drawing the line between self and world, turns a man into steel. When panic sweeps through the room and everyone begins to lose their minds, he breathes slowly and thinks clearly. When insults are thrown and others react with rage or wounded pride, he observes with the detachment of a scientist watching an experiment. When others complain endlessly about things they cannot change, he adapts quietly and moves forward without wasted words. His peace is no longer a fragile thing, dependent on perfect conditions. It is self-generated, forged in the furnace of discipline, maintained by the constant practice of this one habit. He has learned that peace is not found out there in the world. It is built within, stone by stone, breath by breath, choice by choice. Imagine the transformation. The storms of life still come, because they always do. Betrayal still cuts deep. Loss still carves holes in the heart. Criticism still stings the ego. But now his center holds. He has built something within himself that cannot be shaken by external forces. His calm becomes his armor, invisible but impenetrable. His discipline becomes his weapon, sharper than any sword. He does not suppress emotion like some cold machine. He does not pretend to feel nothing. Instead, he transcends emotion through reason. He feels the anger rise, but does not let it rule him. He feels the fear creep in, but does not let it paralyze him. He feels the sadness settle, but does not let it define him. He acknowledges all of it, accepts all of it, and then chooses his response with the clarity of a mind that has been trained to remain free. Epictetus, the slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, taught the same principle with brutal simplicity. We suffer not from events, but from our judgment about them. A thunderstorm is neither good nor bad. It simply is. The judgment that it ruined your plans, that is what causes suffering. A harsh word from a stranger is just sound waves in the air. The judgment that it diminishes your worth, that is what causes pain. To be untouchable is to see everything through the lens of wisdom rather than ego. It is to understand that most of what we suffer is self-imposed, created by our own interpretations, our own expectations, our own need for the world to be different than it is. The Stoic learns to pause before reacting. He creates space between stimulus and response, a gap where freedom lives. He observes before speaking, measuring his words like a craftsman measures his cuts. He thinks before judging, questioning his own assumptions and biases. This habit, practiced daily, repeated in 1,000 small moments, is what separates the weak from the wise. The weak react instantly, slaves to their emotions. The wise respond deliberately, masters of their minds. So how does one build this Stoic habit, this inner fortress that makes a man untouchable? It begins with daily reflection, a practice that Marcus Aurelius himself never abandoned, even in the chaos of ruling an empire and commanding armies. Each morning, before the world makes its demands, the Stoic reminds himself of what he controls and what he does not. He visualizes the challenges ahead and prepares his mind to meet them with virtue rather than emotion. Each evening, he reviews his day without judgment, noting where he succeeded in maintaining his calm and where he lost it, learning from both. This is not about perfection. It is about progress, about building the habit one day at a time until it becomes second nature. It continues with detachment from outcomes. The Stoic gives his full effort to everything he does, but he releases his grip on results. He understands that he can control his preparation, his strategy, his execution, but not whether the dice fall in his favor. This detachment is not apathy. It is freedom. It is the recognition that his peace cannot be held hostage by things outside his control, and it deepens through conscious control over inner dialogue, the constant stream of thoughts that narrate our lives. Most people let this voice run wild, criticizing, worrying, catastrophizing without restraint. The Stoic learns to direct this voice, to question it, to reshape it according to reason rather than fear. When the voice says this is a disaster, he asks, is it really, or is it just unexpected? When the voice says, I cannot handle this, he reminds it, I have handled everything that has come before, and I will handle this too. Untouchability is not about avoiding the world. It is not about hiding in some mountain cave, pretending that life's challenges do not exist. It is about mastering yourself so fully, so completely, that the world loses its power over you. You still engage with life. You still love, still strive, still feel, but you do it all from a place of inner sovereignty. You walk into the arena knowing that victory and defeat are both imposters, both temporary, both ultimately outside your control. What matters is how you conduct yourself in the arena, whether you maintain your virtue, your character, your calm, regardless of the outcome. This is the habit that makes you untouchable. Not because nothing can hurt you, but because you have learned to hurt without breaking, to lose without despairing, to be rejected without questioning your worth. The Stoic does not seek to escape life. He seeks to rise above it, to walk through fire without burning, to face chaos without trembling, to love without attachment, and to lose without breaking. This is the ancient habit that transforms men into something more, something beyond the reach of fortune's cruelty. It is not arrogance, for the Stoic knows he is just a small part of a vast universe. It is not pride, for he has learned that pride is just another chain binding him to external validation. It is calm, earned through discipline, built through self-mastery, and guarded by silence. It is the quiet power of a man who has drawn his line in the sand and said to the universe, "You may do what you will out there, but in here, in this citadel within, I alone am king, and no storm, no matter how fierce, can breach these walls." This is what it means to be untouchable. This is the Stoic way.